Even now, more than 2 months after then-President-elect Trump nominated Steve Mnuchin to be Treasury Secretary, I still find it hard to believe. Month after month, out on the campaign trail, President Trump attacked Wall Street. And he said time after time that he was going to take on Wall Street. And he attacked his opponents in the primary and in the general election by saying that they were too close to Wall Street and specifically too close to Goldman Sachs. He said regarding Secretary Clinton, "She will never reform Wall Street. I know the guys at Goldman Sachs. They have total control." But he countered this by saying that he would do it differently. He promised to take on Wall Street. He promised to fight for middle-class Americans. He promised to drain the swamp and reduce and eliminate the powerful entrenched special interests here in Washington, D.C. But what a change can happen within a few weeks. Less than a month after winning the presidency, I should point out winning the Electoral College, but losing by a massive margin the popular vote, the citizen vote, who does Mr. Trump pick to be Treasury Secretary? A 17-year Goldman Sachs veteran, or foreclosure king, Steve Mnuchin. So here tonight, not even a decade after the second worst financial crisis in the United States history, we'll be holding a vote on whether Steve Mnuchin is a fit character to be Secretary of Treasury. Now, what's particularly puzzling, not only the Goldman Sachs background in contrast to the president's campaign promises, but also that this individual was a contributor to the predatory practices that nearly destroyed our economy in 2008. And he is someone who made a fortune throwing struggling American families out of their homes and onto the streets. So I'm somewhat shocked that we are here tonight, and that some of my colleagues are considering voting to put a man in charge of our nation's financial system who played such a role in bringing it to its knees just a couple of years ago. Let's remember the massive impact on American families. They lost jobs by the millions. The unemployment rate soared. They lost their retirement savings, and often they lost their homes. Not just because they lost their jobs and couldn't pay their mortgage, but because of the predatory design of the mortgages. So I'm shocked that I'm here tonight and we're holding this vote, and that we are particularly considering an individual who worked to tear down the protections and throw American families to the Wall Street wolves. Maybe we should have a Treasury Secretary who succeeded in the past in building up the economy, not one who participated in tearing it down. Maybe we should have a Treasury Secretary who worked hard to put tens of thousands of people into homes, rather than someone who personally profited by throwing tens of thousands of American families out of their homes. I'd be feeling much better about the vote we're holding tonight if that was the case. Because American people have endured too much pain and suffering at the machinations of Wall Street. I thought we'd perhaps learned our lesson. We worked hard to pass the Dodd-Frank reform so that we would end those predatory mortgages. We would end those liar loans. We would end those teaser rate, exploding interest rate loans that brought families to their knees. We would end the securities designed in such a fashion that you couldn't evaluate whether they were AAA or AA. We would end this process and this formulation that turned the dream of American homeownership into the nightmare of American homeownership. This nightmare in which, instead of building wealth for American families, homeownership became an instrument, a predatory instrument for draining wealth from American families. What was Steve Mnuchin doing when the Banking Committee was working to save the economy that he had helped to tear down? Well, he was foreclosing on more than 36,000 struggling homeowners, conducting more than 1/3 of all the reverse mortgage foreclosures, running a bank with a record of discriminating against minority homebuyers, running a bank with a record of discriminating against minority neighborhoods. So, for all these reasons, this is the wrong man. The wrong man because It does not fit the promise the president made to take on Wall Street. The wrong man because he participated in destroying our economy that harmed millions of American families. And the wrong man because he wants to dismantle Dodd-Frank, which has been put together specifically to end the predatory practices, including the illegal robo-signing that he participated in. So this individual has no interest overseeing the financial future of the American people. And so I will be voting no on his confirmation, and I passionately urge my colleagues to do the same. Thank you, Mr. President.